Welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Are you afraid of ghosts? Well, this is the Ghost Takedown Longbow from Southwest Archery. Now this actually combines a couple of my favorite things. I am a huge fan of primitive archery, and a longbow is my preferred style of bow. So the overall length on this is 64 inches. So this is kind of short for a longbow. The self bows that I make are usually about 68 inches. But that's not what makes this a longbow. This is not a recurve because the string doesn't touch the limb. If this limb was to curve around and I would have a section of string touching the limb directly, that is the difference between the definition of a recurve and the definition of a longbow. So longbows shoot super smooth. They can be stealthy, quiet when you get them tuned up right. It is definitely my preferred style of bow, but there's not a lot of longbows that have the key feature that I wanted with this Ghost, and that is that it's a takedown. So the fact that this is a takedown, it helps me out in several different ways. As you know, I'm a huge proponent of a survival bow. So the problem with packing a bow is the length. So this bow comes apart, and the sections are actually shorter than the arrows that I'm storing with it. So because these limbs come completely off, that helps me out a lot. If you remember last year, I was unable to shoot a bow at all because I had hurt my shoulder. Well, with this bow, I can get different weight limbs. I've got 35-pound limbs on here right now as a training bow and to get myself back into hunting weight shape. I can get this bow up to 50 pounds once I get my strength back and I want to start going after some larger game. Now, because this is a takedown bow and it's got a riser like a modern recurve does, it allows me to use archery accessories that I never could do with a traditional longbow. Got a real arrow shelf here. A lot of longbows, especially self bows that I make, I don't have a proper pass like this. I've got a threaded hole here for a modern style rest. Here I've got the plastic flipper that came from Southwest Archery, and I've never used the rest at all on a longbow. I've always just shot off the shelf. I thought I would give this rest a try, and the bow shoots like a laser right now, so I really don't want to mess with it. But this is going to let me shoot different styles of rest. If I want to shoot a roller rest for bow fishing, if I want a brush style rest, there's just tons of options, and it's all open to me right now. I also am threaded right here. If I wanted to go with a sight, which I really don't see myself going with, what I'm going to use these holes for is to attach a side quiver. You can use a side quiver on a regular longbow, but most of the time they have to strap around the limbs, and I never liked the looks of them, so I never did use one. With these holes, I'm able to use a modern quick release style side quiver, which is a whole lot better for bow hunting, and then I can just carry different styles of arrows and have them all right here in front of me. The problem with a back quiver like this is if I'm carrying a blunt or if I'm carrying a flu arrow, it's hard for me to see the proper arrow as I'm drawing it out. I also have a hole here for the stabilizer, which is something I'm not going to put on here. I really have zero intention of putting a stabilizer on this bow, but I sure would like to bow fish with this thing. So with this, I can go with any of the styles of bow fishing rods, either the manual reel, I can go with the rod style, I can go with the bottle style that mounts up high here. It's just a ton of possibilities. Another option with this that I never could use before is a string tracker. So if you're new to bow hunting and you're unfamiliar with tracking deer, a string tracker is a small string that just follows your arrow in flight. It doesn't really disturb the flight of the arrow, but it lets you track that animal to exactly where it's laying. Now, as good as this bow shoots, I'm actually using arrows that are a little bit overspined. This is a carbon arrow. This is a pretty inexpensive brand, but this is for a 45-pound bow, and this thing shoots really good. The carbon arrows use a modern knock. This is a self knock, so this is just carved right into the wood. And this Ghost came with this string. It came with a stringer, and it came with an instruction booklet just to help you get it tuned up. But check this out. These self knocks clip on, and they actually hold if I was trying to shoot straight down out of a tree stand. Really good string on here. I think I'm going to put some silencers on here because the bow is not quite as quiet as some of the other longbows that I have set up for hunting. So I'm going to put string silencers on here in another video, but absolutely outstanding bow so far. Now when they delivered this, I actually thought it was something else. It was in such a small box. Let me show you how small this is when you take it down. So after I get it unstrung, I can unscrew my limb bolt. I can pop my limb out of the pocket, and then I'll put the screw back. So if you're talking about packing for a fly-in trip, or you're looking to put something in your bug out bag, this is the size bow I'm talking about here. It is really small. And here's my arrow for comparison. So this is probably a 30-inch arrow here. Now they do make a takedown case for this. This is also something I could just slip into my leather back quiver. Now if you weren't concerned with packing this bow down and you didn't want to include this in a bug out bag, Southwest Archery makes one-piece longbows as well. And they have takedown recurves, a couple different styles. And to be honest, the takedown recurve is probably going to have higher performance than this longbow. But if you're a traditionalist like me and you're looking for a bow that you can carry into the woods, or you can take on trips that maybe it's not just a bow hunting trip. Maybe you're going out there and you want to try some small game with a takedown bow. You want to try to live off the land a little bit. You want to do some bow fishing on the middle of a canoe trip. A takedown bow like this is something you're going to have with you when you wouldn't have other bows available. So if you're looking for your first longbow, this is going to be a perfect option for you. It's going to let you use modern rest. It's going to let you use modern accessories, and you don't have to worry about overbowing yourself on your first purchase. There is such a problem with getting a bow that's more powerful than you can comfortably shoot right off the rip. You're going to develop bad habits, you're going to develop bad form, and you might quit shooting and no longer be an archer. Now, if you already have a longbow or you're already a shooter, you probably don't have anything like this. The fact that I can take this down, so I can take this on trips with me. I can slip this in my canoe barrel. I can put this in a bug out bag. I can carry this when I just wouldn't be normally carrying a full-size bow with me. If I just want to camp for the weekend and take this bow to go ahead and do some stump shooting or some target practice, I'm able to do that. So if this is the kind of thing you like, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment in the comment box and ring the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Burning River Bushcraft. I also teach outdoor classes at Outdoorcore.com. So if you can't tell, I really like this thing. I love the fact that it's a takedown bow. I love the fact that it's a traditional longbow. And I also like the fact that I can put modern accessories on this. I can make this a modern version of a primitive design. And that's kind of what I like to do. With this bow, I'm going to be able to bow fish. I'm going to be able to hunt small game. I'm going to be able to hunt aerial game using flu-flus. I can target shoot throughout the year, and I'm able to take big game with no problem. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this bow and what it can do in a series of shorts. But in the meantime, go out there and get yourself one. Definitely check out Southwest Archery. They are an all-in-one shop. They have a lot of different styles. But unless you're afraid of ghosts, this might be the one you get. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs from Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.